Welcome back to our channel where we dissect the beautiful, chaotic, and sometimes maddening world of Port Charles. Today is a fantastic day to get fired up because the latest developments have me literally pacing my living room. Let's dive straight into the drama. Let me start by saying this, and I need everyone to hear me loud and clear. Port Charles is bleeding. The writing on the wall is written in crimson, and if you have been paying attention to the subtle and frankly sometimes heavy-handed cues dropping over the last few weeks, you know exactly what I am talking about. We are staring down the barrel of a massive body count this fall. 4 characters, 4 potential body bags. And honestly, I have incredibly mixed feelings about how this canvas is being manipulated right now. Death in soap operas is a tricky, fragile mechanism. If you do it right, you create generational trauma that fuels storylines for decades. Think about the emotional weight of Stone Kates. Think about the absolute devastation of Courtney Matthews. But if you do it wrong, you get a cheap sweep stunt that alienates the audience, wastes incredible acting talent, and leaves a massive narrative vacuum that takes years to fix. Right now, the writers are teasing 4 major exits: Jack Brennan, Kai Taylor, Jen Sidwell, and Hudson Parker. And as someone who studies the rhythm of this show, who knows exactly when a storyline is earning its emotional payoff and when it is just taking the easy way out, I need to break down exactly why some of these choices are brilliant storytelling and why others are going to be a monumental, unforgivable mistake. I am not going to sit on the fence here. I am furious, I am excited, and I am deeply concerned about where this is heading. Let us start with the one that is making my blood boil the hottest, Jack Brennan. The leaks are out there. The whispers are getting louder that Chris McKenna is facing a grim fate this fall, and his silence on social media, a place where he is usually incredibly vocal and interactive with the fans, speaks volumes. Let me say this clearly. Killing Jack Brennan would be a colossal waste of potential. Since he arrived, Brennan has injected a level of sophisticated, dangerous charisma that this show has desperately needed since the golden days of Jerry Jacks or the complex menace of Lorenzo Alcazar. He is layered. He is calculating. And now he is sticking his neck out for Nina Reeves and Willow Kane in a way that feels incredibly ominous. Nina herself teased that something truly tragic is coming in Willow's storyline. Are we really going to sacrifice Brennan as collateral damage in the endless, exhausting, incredibly repetitive saga of Michael and Willow's marital collapse? Because if that is the plan, it is incredibly lazy. Brennan taking a bullet because of Willow's domestic drama is an insult to the character's WSB pedigree. This is a man who operates in the darkest corners of international espionage. He is a master manipulator. If he goes down, it needs to be an absolute spectacle. It needs to be tied to the WSB chaos that he is knee-deep in, not some domestic crossfire, because Michael is throwing a tantrum over Jacinda Bracken and Serena Baldwin is hovering like a vulture to steal his shares. Now, there is a theory floating around that Brennan might die a hero's death saving Jocelyn Jacks. And okay, I will admit, from a structural scriptwriting standpoint, that has weight. Jocelyn is waiting for a mission from him. She is frustrated. If she goes rogue and ends up in the crosshairs of whatever danger Hudson Parker brings, Brennan sacrificing himself to save Carly's daughter would be a massive emotional gut punch. It would forever alter Jocelyn's trajectory and give her a layer of survivor's guilt that could drive her character for years. But am I ready to lose McKenna's electric screen presence for the sake of Jocelyn's character development? Absolutely not. The writers have a horrible habit of introducing phenomenal villains, redeeming them slightly, and then killing them off because they do not know how to integrate them into the daily fabric of the town. It is a recycled emotional beat, and I am exhausted by it. Do better, GH. Keep Brennan alive. Now let us pivot to someone whose death is not just likely, but narratively required, Kai Taylor. I am sorry, but Kai is a dead man walking. Can we be honest about this? The second Trina Robinson's stalker digitally erased him from that photo, Kai's fate was sealed in stone. This is classic textbook soap thriller pacing. You do not introduce a terrifying, unseen stalker and have them just send creepy texts for 6 months. You need escalating stakes. You need proof of concept. The stalker wants Kai permanently out of the picture, and we saw someone tracking Kai the last time he left Bobby's. The writing is on the wall, and frankly, I am here for it. Why? Because Trina needs this. Not the trauma. Obviously, she has been through enough with Spencer's supposed death and Esme's reign of terror, but Trina, as a character, needs a storyline that centers her in a high-stakes, life-or-death thriller where she is the ultimate focus. Kai is collateral damage. He is the sacrificial lamb on the altar of Trina's upcoming emotional crucible. When Kai turns up in the morgue, it is going to shatter Trina's world, but it will also force her to realize the sheer, unadulterated danger she is in. This stalker is not playing games. If they are willing to commit cold-blooded murder just to clear the path to Trina, the psychological terror is going to be off the charts. It is a bold move by the writers, and for once, I applaud it. It raises the stakes from a high school drama to a legitimate, terrifying criminal investigation. It reminds me of the old school GH thrillers, the text message stalkers, the visceral fear of the unknown. Kai dying is the necessary catalyst to push Trina from a passive victim into an active survivor fighting for her life. It is earned, it is logical, and it is going to be fantastic television. Then we have Jen Sidwell. The asset auction is already drawing out the heavy hitters, Sonny Corinthos, Valentine Cassadine, Drew Kane. It is a billionaire's blood sport. But let us look at the real board here. Assistant District Attorney Justine Turner is sniffing around Sonny, practically begging him to slip up regarding Sidwell's stint in Pentonville. Sonny playing innocent, claiming that if Sidwell meets his maker behind bars, it will not be on his orders, please? Do the writers think we were born yesterday? Sonny Corinthos does not have conversations like that unless a hit is already in motion or someone is about to be framed. And that brings me to the Curtis Ashford of it all. If Sidwell gets a shiv in the back in the Pentonville yard and Curtis is his cellmate, the framing is almost too perfect. It is a classic soap trope. The innocent man locked up, suddenly accused of a high-profile murder to keep him in the system. But here is my frustration with this. It feels incredibly repetitive. How many times are we going to watch the Port Charles justice system falsely accuse a beloved character of a mob-adjacent murder? We have seen this exact beat play out with Jason, with Sonny himself, with half the town. If Sidwell dies in prison, it needs to serve a larger purpose than just giving Curtis another legal headache. What if Sidwell escapes? What if he breaks out and meets a brutal end on the outside? Frankly, that is the only way this death works for me. Sidwell is a man defined by his wealth, his assets, and his immense power. Stripping him of that, putting him on the run, and having him taken out by one of his many enemies, maybe even Valentine, who is desperate to secure those assets to solidify his own empire, would be poetic justice. It would prove that sometimes being locked in a Pentonville cell is the safest place you can be. The writers need to make Sidwell's demise a catalyst for a massive Port Charles power vacuum, not just a procedural stumbling block for Curtis. If they waste this death on a simple framing plot, I will be furious. Finally, we arrive at the darkest, most twisted potential exit of them all, Hudson Parker. Let me tell you, Troy Leonard Appel is doing phenomenal work, but Hudson is an absolute monster. He is a wolf wrapped in sheep's clothing, playing the charming, normal guy while interviewing for the CEO position with Jocelyn Jacks. But we saw what he did to Ethan Lovett. We saw the absolute unhinged savagery in that attack. Ethan is terrified of him, and Ethan is Luke Spencer's son. He is not a man who scares easily. The fact that Hudson is hunting for Phoebe Chase while aggressively cornering Ava Jerome for information about Delilah Wilson's baby tells me one thing. Hudson is on a collision course with a body bag. You cannot introduce a villain this brutal, this secretive, and this embedded in multiple high-stakes storylines without planning a spectacular downfall. He is messing with Ava Jerome, a woman who has literally killed to protect her secrets. Do we remember Connie Falconeri? Do we remember what Ava is capable of when she is backed into a corner? Hudson is playing with fire on every single front. And frankly, he deserves whatever is coming to him. But here is my demand as a viewer. When Hudson goes down, it cannot be an accident. It cannot be a slip and fall off the parapet at Windermere. It needs to be a definitive, violent conclusion to his reign of terror. I want Ava to outsmart him. I want Jocelyn, who is already playing a dangerous game of cat and mouse by flirting with him for her investigation, to uncover his true nature and trap him. Hudson is the kind of villain who thinks he is the smartest person in the room, and there is nothing more satisfying in soap storytelling than watching an arrogant, abusive monster realize he has been outplayed right before the final blow lands. If the writers stretch his storyline out too long, it will lose its potency. The tension is peaking right now. The mystery of Delilah's baby, the fear surrounding Phoebe, the brutalization of Ethan, all of it demands a climax. Hudson Parker needs to die, and it needs to be soon. He is a narrative grenade, and the pin has already been pulled. The only question is, who is going to be standing closest when he finally detonates? So, where does this leave us? 4 men, 4 potential deaths. General Hospital is clearly gearing up for a bloody, transformative fall sweep. But as someone who has watched this show navigate life and death for years, I am begging the writing team to make these exits matter. Do not just kill for the shock value. Shock is cheap. Shock fades by the time the next commercial break hits. Grief, consequence, and fallout are what make this genre great.